Everybody's got to take a stand. This is why I oppose having a twice impeached president come to use it to tell us how we should manage gun violence. This is what we found out. Finally, this. I stand for liberty and justice for all. Not just because of the color of people. Not just because of where you were born. I stand for liberty and justice for all because this is a human right that every person ought to have simply because you are alive and a child of a common creator. And this is why I also want you to know that I do have this purpose and I'm combating it and I'm going to win this fight. But if I should transition, if I should go to meet my maker, I promise you that I will come back and haunt the Congress of the United States of America God bless you.
Thank you, brother. Let him do here. Leave me alone.
Right now. Do we have a medic? We need a medic right now. We need a medic to the stage right now. Make way for the medic, please.
We're good.
Everyone on the stage, back all the way up. Give these people space. If you are on this stage, back all the way up or get up. Those are your options. Back up or get up. Now. Back up. We got it.
Can I get some more water in the building?
Okay. Listen, is there somebody out there that needs some help? Bring them, who are you with? Bring them to the side. Right this way. Everybody, get out of the way. We are not Republicans. We can organize shit. Get out of the way. Let this person that needs help up front, and somebody better be helping them. Are we a community or not? Then help your brother get up here and get out of their way.
Drink water! Drink water!
This divide that has been created right here, we're going to keep this divide. Because people need to be able to get through. You people down in the front, thank you for your help. We got it. All right. Now, we're going to get back to a little bit of business. I'm going to make y'all just a little bit. Ma'am. All right, guys, we have got a lot of stuff that's going on and people need to be heard. I'm back to talk.
So, for future reference, this is my fellow organizer for Black Lives Matter Houston. This is Candace Director. I want to say somebody else who's very important, and I don't know what she with. Come on, Mama. Come on. Give a hand up for the National Education Association. Make sure you're drinking water.
Back or on the side? Guys, we need y'all behind the children. Keep them safe. Move back. Behind behind this line.
And I will not stop lifting my voice until every one of our babies can go to school and be safe. I will not stop lifting my voice until every one of our children in every one of their communities is safe from gun violence. The 3 million members of the NEA will not stop lifting their voice until every single one of our children has what they need and deserve, and they can live and thrive and be brilliant. Now, I want to tell you something. I'm from Philly. So I know something about some feisty people. I heard you down here in Texas were a bit feisty. That's what I heard. That you were standing up and saying, we will ban assault rifles. That's what I heard. I heard you were demand laws with stronger background checks. That's what I heard. I heard you want to make sure that we all rise up together and protect our children. That's what I heard. So, now that's what you're telling me. So I think when I ask you this question, what are you prepared to do? You're going to say, whatever it takes. Let me hear you, Texas. What are you prepared to do? I can hear you. What are you prepared to do? What are you prepared to do? I know you will not stop until we end gun violence in our schools, in our neighborhoods, and communities. Texas, what are you prepared to do? I have with me the president of the Texas State Teachers Association.
I want to tell you, like our educators in Texas, we're on the country of feeling right now.
Y'all, please say that.
Yeah.
We have to go to school and think about how to hide our babies, how to keep them safe, where the exits are, who can hide in the cabinets, how do we keep them quiet? The responsibility on keeping our students safe is on us because our lawmakers have failed us. We didn't sign up for this shit. We signed up to teach our babies and nurture them, give them safe spaces, not to have our schools be like prisons where we only have one door in, one door out. What kind of ridiculous idea is that? Thank you.
Here, just have him come right in front of me.
Yeah, I got
Y'all two sit up. Sit up. Sit up, man. Come on.
I want to begin by remembering those in Uvalde, that community, those families who have lost their children, who have lost their parents, who have lost those teachers, who have always been the strength of Uvalde. The most beautiful community, the most wonderful, gracious, kind, generous people that I have ever met. Being welcomed into the home of Ryan and Jess, who lost their daughter on Tuesday. Her daughter's name is Olivia. I had never heard that name before. I will never forget it for as long as I live. Walking into their kitchen, Olivia's balloons from her 10th birthday were still clinging to the ceiling, still helium in them. Her bed, as she left it that morning, still unmade. Her little sister, Akila, her little brother, Jonah, running around the house, not understanding yet what had happened to their sister. And their mother, Jess, asked two things of me, of all of us. She said, I don't want anyone to ever forget my little girl lived. I want them to know that she was the most beautiful child, so happy and so talented and gifted. There were her paintings and drawings all over the house, in the living room, in the kitchen, on every surface that you could find, and she was right. She was extraordinarily gifted and talented. I want you to remember Olivia. I want Jess and Ryan and that family to know that their child will always live with us for as long as we live. We will pass her story and her name down to the generations that follow us. We will never forget them. We will never forget Uvalde. We will always remember. The second thing she asked is that we do everything that we can with what we have, where we are, so that no mother ever feels as she does right now, ever has to experience the grief and the loss that they are feeling right now at this moment. And I say that because there are some, including those who've lost those who are most dear to them, who will say it is too soon for us to talk about what we are going to do to prevent this from ever happening again. But I hope that you agree with me that the time for us to have stopped Uvalde was right after Sandy Hook. The time for us to have stopped Uvalde was right after Parkland. The time for us to have stopped Uvalde was right after Santa Fe High School. The time for us to stop the next mass shooting in this country is right now, right here, today, with every single one of us. So, to the people of Uvalde, and to those everywhere, in El Paso, in Sutherland Springs, in Midland, Odessa, in Houston, Texas, to those who've lost somebody, but because it happens so much in this country, it has numbed us, and their names never made the newspaper. They may never be remembered. To those who still live with their wounds from gun violence, disabled today, not able to live as they did the day before, I want you to know that not only are we with you right now, we are taking action at this very moment. That is all I want us to do. To those who are attending the NRA convention across the street, you are not our enemies. We are not yours. We extend our hand open and unarmed in a gesture of peace and fellowship to welcome you to join us to make sure that this no longer happens in this country. But the time for you to respond and to join us is now. We cannot wait any longer for you.
Those who will be the victims of the next mass shooting unless we act are counting on us at this moment. So please join us now or be left behind. To the leadership of the NRA and to those politicians that you have purchased, to those men and women in positions of power who care more about your power than using that power to save the lives of those that you are supposed to serve. If you have done anything good, it is the fact that you have brought us here together. And if we are committing ourselves to act, we will defeat you, and we will overcome you, and we will leave you behind. And finally, to those who are here, and to those who are watching from home right now, we are counting on each other. Our kids are counting on us. Our descendants are looking back on this moment from the future to see if we are going to stand and fight for them or leave them to be slaughtered. We cannot be found wanting. There are rituals on the other side of this, press conferences where they blame everyone and everything but those who are responsible for the carnage that we see in our communities, offering thoughts and prayers, but never a word of action. But let us acknowledge that we have our own rituals right here among us. Too many have chosen comfort over confrontation. Too many are satisfied with themselves and those who think like them instead of engaging with those they've never met before who may come to a different conclusion on this issue. It is time for us to break these rituals and to decide what we are going to do different, because if we continue to do the same thing in the same way and expect a different result, that is the very definition of insanity. So I ask you, for those in power and who hold office right now and who are in the way and refuse to act, please promise me you will get in their faces before another child is shot in their face. Join me in getting after it and going out there and meeting the voters who will decide the outcome of this election in the most suppressed and voter-intimidated state in the Union, where so many people have been drawn out of our democracy. We've got to be on their doors and invite them into this next election, because the lives of our kids are literally on the ballot. Let us commit ourselves right now to doing the hardest things that we can think of, because nothing about this will be easy. We want to make sure that no parent goes through the hardest thing that any of us could possibly experience, what those parents are going through in Uvalde right now. But also know this: action is the antidote to despair. It is the key to victory, and it is necessary if we are ever to overcome this. Are you willing to act? Keep the faith, keep up the fight, and let us always do this together. Thank you.